Hey, what's up guys? Alex here with a new video. Today we're going to be talking about the Sony 35mm 1.4 G Master. That might catch you by surprise. If you're familiar with the channel, I am a Canon shooter and have been a Canon shooter for the last 4 years. But before that I was actually a Sony shooter and ended up switching over to Canon, but we're not going to talk about that. So I want to talk about my first impressions of this lens as a Canon shooter, what I thought, and what camera I used it with. So let's kick things off. So I rented the Sony a7R IV a few weekends ago to give it a shot. I wanted to compare it to my Leica M11 because they both share the same sensor. When I rented that camera, I figured why not also rent the 35 1.4 because that's the one lens that everybody raves about and calls it the perfect 35mm. And that hype, I mean, it's in here, right? I've been wanting to try that lens as it launched, so I figured perfect opportunity to pair them both together. So with that said, I don't have the lens with me anymore or the camera, but I'll be putting up images that I shot with this lens. And actually, before we even kind of start talking about my first impressions, let me hit you with some B-roll I shot with the Sony a7R IV at 120 frames per second with the 35 1.4. So let me roll that. Okay, so let's talk about my first impressions. I'll be putting up images, like I said, that I shot with this lens. They've all been edited with my preset, so if you're interested in that, feel free to go to my website down below and check that out. The one thing that stood out to me automatically from this lens using it was the size. So as a Canon shooter, and Canon has released tons of amazing primes in the last few years, 1.2 primes, they've been massive, they've been big. Now, I've gotten used to it, and the camera bodies are comfortable enough, so I don't mind it too much. But the 35 1.4 from Sony was actually small, compact, lightweight. It was the opposite of what I've been using. So automatically, I was really surprised at the size and weight of the lens. It paired really well with the Sony a7R IV. I haven't used Sony for a while, so this is the first time I also used Sony's new grip. And again, overall, handling and ergonomics were perfect. It was just such an easy, fun, and light kit to carry around. When using this lens, does it live up to the hype? Yes, it does. The image quality you get with this lens is incredible. Now, the photos I'm showing you were all shot with the Sony a7R IV, which is a 61 megapixel sensor. That's really pushing, the optics of lenses, and this lens is sharp. Wide open, it is very sharp, and I got zero purple fringing or chromatic aberrations. I didn't see any crazy distortion. Now, I do always enable profile corrections in Lightroom, so it's not something that I turn off for any reason. With profile corrections, everything looked good, and overall, from a performance standpoint, it was really, really good. And when you tie the performance to the size and form factor, it's a phenomenal lens. As a matter of fact, it's so good that I almost want to pick up a Sony kit. We'll get to that at the end of the video, just for this lens. So from an image quality perspective, this lens lives up to the hype. And as a Canon shooter, coming from the Canon perspective, I'm really curious to see what Canon's gonna do when they launch the 35mm L lens. Are they gonna launch it at 1.2 lens and just make it larger? Or will they release a similar form factor 1.4? I think everybody in the Canon community is waiting to see what happens here with Canon's new 35 for the RF system. But to be fully honest, I only used this lens for a weekend, used it for a handful of shoots, and I really enjoyed it, which leads me to my final thoughts and conclusions. I said this last year when I was talking about the future of this channel, and I wanted to start including more cameras in this channel, not only Canon. I want to start comparing, different brands, different lenses to see what's best for you. And I think this lens pushed it over the top for me. What I mean by that is, after using this lens and this experience, I placed an order on a Sony a7R IV, and a 35G Master. Now the A7 IV is not currently in stock right now, but once I do get it, I will also get the lens and I'll have that kit, which says several things. One, it says how good this lens is. Two, I'll be doing a lot more videos and content on the Sony system, also comparing it to the Canon system. I already have several ideas of things I want to compare, but be on the lookout for that. So again, quick first impressions after using the 35 for a weekend. I will definitely do a full review after I own it for a little bit, but this lens, to recap everything, is worth the hype and it's incredible. So as always, guys, thank you for watching. Please like this video, please subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Have a good one, guys. Peace.